Okay, everyone, welcome to the post-game press conference. We are joined by Vanderbilt head coach Shay Ralph and student athletes Sasha Washington and Kaija Harbison. We'll begin with an opening statement from the head coach, then we will take questions for the student athletes. After that, we'll dismiss the student athletes back to the remainder of the open locker room period, and then we'll take questions for the head coach. Coach Ralph, if you could give us an opening statement, and then we will move to questions.
Yes. Well, hi, everyone. First of all, it's an honor to be here at Vanderbilt competing in the SEC. Congratulations to Texas A&M on continuing their season. They played a great game today. But, you know, I'm biased. I am really proud of my team. And there has been a ton of adversity thrown at us this year. And I've almost told them not to talk about it because I know there are things that we couldn't control, namely injuries, stuff off the court that no one else knows but us. But these players have made me a better person and a better coach. They are constantly fighting for themselves, for each other. Their belief and trust in what we're doing and building at Vanderbilt is unlike, and I've experienced some really great stuff. I mean, I have. But when you're in the position we're in, it would have been very easy for our locker room to be a tough locker room to walk into every day. But it never was. It was the best part of my day, coming to work and seeing their faces and working with them to get better. I can't say enough about our senior class and the ways that they contributed not only to our success on the court, but to the foundation of the excellence that we're building off the court as well. We're going to be a problem in a good way very soon. And it's a result and will always be a result of the teams who have fought from us from the beginning. So while this is the end of our season, this is not the end of our relationship or our growth. These players are going to do some great things. Some of them will be here. Some of them will be in the WNBA and overseas. But wherever they go, I know they're going to be successful because of what I've experienced with them and the growth they've had and the people they are.
We'll now open it to questions for the student athletes. Please raise your hand, and our assistants will bring you a microphone. And also, please state your name and affiliation when you ask the question.
Gabrielle Lewis, the next. For both of y'all, can you talk about, 5 minutes left in the game, the intensity ramps up. What does Coach say to you? What are you thinking? And then how do you feel like you executed that last 5 minutes?
Sasha, you want to take that one first?
Really, I think it's the same story over and over. We just got to tell ourselves we got to fight. If nothing left in the tank, we got to give everything we got. We have to play hard, play smart, and plays will work our way, and that's what happened. But ultimately, we didn't get the win, but I thought we really just fought, and that's all we could really do.
Kaija?
Yeah, to elaborate on that, I mean, just the fight that we just continue to have throughout the game. We never put our heads down. Like, that's never been us. We continue to play Vanderbilt basketball. We took it possession by possession and executed each possession. So, I'm very proud of, the way we finish, regardless of the loss. But, yeah.
Gabrielle?
Kaija, you and I spoke a couple weeks ago about, your whole basketball career. Now that this conference season is over, can you reflect what this year has meant to your entire collegiate career and, how this conference maybe, the end of it being missed?
Yeah, first off, I'm very grateful for the opportunity that, the Vanderbilt coaching staff gave me to be able to come and be something special for them and, having the chance to play with some wonderful girls. Like, it was an amazing experience, growing on and off the court, honestly. They really, had a lot of freedom with me and really developed me in many ways, and I'm very grateful the whole season, just the fight, the determination, the trust they put into me. And our teammates. So I'm very grateful for the experience, and, they'll always be family.
Sasha, put up great numbers tonight. Felt like you were just everywhere on the court. What's it like playing in a game like this with, big stakes?
I tell everybody March is the best time of the year, just want that feeling of surviving or going home, like, just like, our trainer said it was like the Super Bowl, so just having a lot of energy, just sticking together, playing with my family, like, that's what it's all about.
And then just last, you're a sophomore, and this is, the seasons you've had are been really great. What's the future hold?
Growth, more growth. This staff has trusted me, and I trust them, and I know that they'll always put me in the best position to succeed. So I'm excited for the future and just to grow into a great player.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Here in the back.
Yes, for Sasha, the competition that you experienced here for our cliche, it just means more compared to what you had played in before. How can you compare that?
I would definitely say that the competition here is like playing against pros every day. Like, these girls are amazing, playing against great competition, you know, fight the whole game. So, I mean, I would definitely say it was, you know, tougher, but honestly, it's nothing I haven't experienced. Like, I played against an SEC team in the A-10 before. Like, I know what it's about, and I'm just grateful for the experience to even come out here and be on this big stage and, you know, show what I can do alongside my teammates. So, very grateful for the experience, like I said.
And for Sasha, this is your second year in the SEC. In preparation, it doesn't get any easier, would you say?
I mean, like Kaja said, we playing against pros, so to be the best, you got to play against the best. So I always love the challenge coming out here on nights where we get to play against these SEC teams and just them working me and for me to get better.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay, ladies, you can be dismissed to the remainder of the open locker room period.
Thank you. Thank you.
Front.
In a similar vein to the question I had for the players, what can you say about those last 5 minutes? You know, what did you tell your team? It just felt like the intensity went up by 10.
Yeah, our backs were against the wall. You know, we were down double digits, and 5 minutes is a long time, though. So I think when you're a basketball player, you want to play with a sense of urgency, but you don't want it to be a panic, right? So letting them know we have a lot of time left, but every single possession matters, and we need to turn them over so we can get quick buckets or get to the free throw line. It wasn't a chance for us at that point to constantly be setting up offense. We were down by too much. So in order for us to be in a position to win the game, the first thing we had to do was apply pressure to them where we had a chance to turn them over so we could get quick buckets. That was number one. Number two, when we had those quick buckets, they had to be high percentage shots. So again, being able to execute on defense and then play with a sense of urgency offensively, knowing we needed to score quickly, but taking a high percentage shot. I thought we did a good job of that. You know, we missed some open looks. There was a moving screen called when we hit a three that would have been a really big bucket for us. But I'm really, and you know, I've said this before, I'm not a last 5 minutes or possession kind of person. I think had we played with that sense of urgency the whole game, and not necessarily picking up full court and trapping, but just having that sense of urgency, like this possession matters to our success, to the result of the game, then we would have been in a different position at that 5 minutes. And we may not have ran out of gas in the sense of missing layups or not having to foul and being able to play the game out, having some timeouts left, you know, so that I could use them. So I think, and that honestly has been the story of our year. You see these flashes of this team, this team this year, my team, where, holy cow, we just overwhelm people and we're able to do some amazing things in a short period of time. And then there's stretches where we just shoot ourselves in the foot with our lack of discipline. Sometimes our lack of focus, our fatigue got to us. And we were never really able, we had a couple games that were pretty solid from start to finish, but we were never really able to put, I think, 40 minutes together where all of our key players played great. I think the one time we did it was when we played A&M at home for our first conference win. So, you know, in the end, like Sasha said, it is about growth. The struggle I have, obviously, is not Kaija and Marnell, and a couple of others of our seniors may not get to experience that. You know, those two for sure. But we're not going to have them in the locker room. This was it for them. And so I don't know that, you know, when you're starting to build something, do your younger players understand that they're fighting for their survival, right? Like she said, win or go home. But you're also fighting for those who don't get another chance next year, who don't have summer workouts, who don't have another March in college basketball. That's what it means to be part of a great team. And we're going to continue to work on that. And it was really important to me in the beginning to talk about how much I was grateful for our seniors, because they had 1 year with us. Those two could have easily gone somewhere where they would be playing in the NCAA tournament. For sure. I told you, I thought we would be an NCAA tournament team this year. Then our injuries happened, and they just took it in stride, and they shouldered our team. You can't say enough about a young person who does that. You can't. Not in this day and age. So they made me better. They made us better. They doubled down on what we're trying to build here. And we will be a great team. But you can't skip steps and you can't skip chapters. And this was one of those kind of crappy chapters, the way this year ended for us. But you got to read every line and meet every character, and that's the way it goes. And so if we can use this as a positive stepping stone forward and not let ourselves be defined by the results of this year, whether you look at our record or how it ended, then I think we'll be going somewhere special.
Just to follow up on two things of that. Did you feel like the urgency was, just like two parts here, do you feel like the urgency was lacking throughout the game, like prior to the last quarter? And then you talked about how you didn't feel like the pieces fit together for a whole game very often. Was that just because of how small your numbers were, or do you feel like it's a deeper issue?
No, yeah. I would never say our numbers. I mean, we had 8 players that were capable. And, and I think it's everything. You as a coach, you're trying to figure out a way to inspire your players to be their best, to show up with their best. So that would start with me. But I also think that there's just an understanding. We have a young team as well. So we had some young kids, on our team that played a lot of minutes. We had some veterans who never really played, with us before. It's 1 year. So, and then we lost our 2 best players right off the bat, and our leaders. So it was a constant relearning and meshing, and you don't have a lot of time to do that. You're doing it under fire. So I think our effort was good, but we weren't able to string it together for long enough in a lot of those games. And in that way, those stretches, just 2 or 3 minutes, would put us in a position where we couldn't come back in the second half. And we knew it, and we constantly kept working towards it. We just ran out of time. As we continue to get better, we just ran out of time. So I'm proud of them because, again, they never gave up. And these two will tell you, I mean, they would show up to practice tomorrow if I asked them to keep working on it. But we just, we weren't able to figure it out soon enough.
Texas A&M just shot really well tonight and much better than they usually do. Is that something that caught y'all off guard? And, what was it like responding to that?
No, yeah. I mean, you kind of, not that you expect it, but that's not the first time that a team has shot a lot better than they usually do against us. And it's not something we can control. I think we could have controlled the open shots we gave them. We gave them way too many open shots, specifically Bowles, who hit, several corner threes against our pressure that were backbreakers. So in that vein, when good teams and great players make shots in March, that's not a surprise. But the shots that they take have to be under duress and contested, and I think that's where we could have made a difference today.
Anything else?
You've reflected a lot on the season and being proud of your team. Is there anything you as a coach feel like you're going to work on in the off season?
How long do you have? I mean, a lot of there's been so much great support at Vanderbilt, and every time I go into an interview or an event, there will be a talk about me being a first-time head coach, and I am. This is my first head coaching job, but it's not my first rodeo. Like, I've been part of some amazing teams as a player and a coach. Part of an Olympic gold medal team. I've been part of a WNBA team. I've worked with some of the greatest players that have ever played our game. And I will constantly be learning. And in the day that I think I don't need to learn anything, I should probably stop coaching. Because I think what the last 2 years has taught me is that my evolution as a coach, while I've done all of those great things, I've never evolved more than I have the last couple of years. I attribute that a lot to my players, because they believe in me, and I ask them to show up for me every day. They show up, and they need that from me as well. So there are no bad days. right? They're challenging ones, but there are no bad days when you have that kind of buy-in. And then I would have to say my staff is the same. We intentionally, and when I say we, my husband and I did this together, right? So he's the associate head coach, but we're partners in this. And when we talked about Vanderbilt, we talked about hiring an all-star staff. I believe my staff is the best in the country. There is a process to achieving that. So again, the results, are we champions this year? No, we're not gonna win a championship this year. We're number 12, we're not in the top half, but not for long. Not for long. We'll be there. We understand what we're asking our players to do. We do the same thing. We don't skip steps. We go back to the drawing board. We lean on each other. I have an experienced, amazing, passionate, determined staff. And you will be seeing a lot of Vanderbilt women's basketball over the next several years, hopefully longer than that.
Thank you, Coach.